Bug-type Pokemon are arguably the worst in the game, and historically they've been one of the worst typings for competitive Pokemon Go. So how could the worst Pokemon typing become a world champion?
And it's official! Congratulations to Yakai as your 2024 Pokemon Go World Champion! He's cooking! What a series!
And now multiple Bug-type Pokemon are consistently making top-cut teams and winning tournaments, as their dominance and coverage against the meta has been growing over the past few months. So what changed? What turned seemingly useless Pokemon into champions? First, we need to understand the basics for Bug-type Pokemon. Defensively, they are weak to Fire, Rock, and Flying, which have been commonly seen in the meta over the years. Pokemon like Skeledirge and Skarmory are examples of top meta picks from recent years that made bringing any generic Bug-type Pokemon incredibly difficult. It was even common to see 2 flying Pokemon on one team in years past, back when Skarmory, Altaria, Gligar, and Mandibuzz were all top meta options. There was also the dominance of the charge move Rock Slide before it was nerfed in 2024. As a bug type, it was tough to stand out with so many common counters, but thankfully they have decent meta resistances. Fighting, Grass, and Ground, which can be incredibly useful in Pokemon Go, as those typings are commonly seen on most teams in one way or another. Pokemon like Annihilate, Shadow Kanto Marowak, and Superior being the most recent meta choices. Now offensively, bug types really begin to struggle. They can do super effective damage against Grass, Dark, and Psychic, which is great, don't get me wrong, but there are 7 types that resist bug, and most of those have been meta since the start. Pokemon like Registeel, Skarmory, Azumarill, Galarian Stunfisk, Clodsire, and Carbink are all examples of historically meta Pokemon, which makes sense considering we never really saw bug-type Pokemon become top meta. That is, until Charjabug. You see, while the bug type looks to be a weakness, it's actually a strength when paired correctly. The combination of bug and electric allowed it to neutralize some weaknesses: ground and flying. This solidified its defensive strengths by only having 2 typings that it was weak to: fire and rock. This could be easily covered by the water type Pokemon like Azumarill and Swampert, which at times were the best in the game. Since the meta in late 2023 and most of 2024 was filled with water, flying, and psychic type Pokemon, Charjabug became a strong offensive answer with its moveset coverage once it got access to the fast move Volt Switch. This happened in a very unusual way. In September of 2023, Grubbin got its Community Day, which normally gives the final evolution of that Pokemon a special move. However, this time, both Charjabug and Vikavolt got access to Volt Switch. The combination of Volt Switch and Discharge allowed it to apply huge pressure to Pokemon like Skarmory and Azumarill, thanks to the high energy gain from Volt Switch and low energy cost with good damage from Discharge. Pokemon like Cresselia, Defense Form Deoxys, and Umbreon also gave Charjabug even more offensive value with the bug-type charge move of X-Scissor. Now you might be wondering, well, why use Charjabug instead of Vikavolt? This comes down to the final piece of the puzzle that makes a Pokemon meta, its stat product. In Pokemon Go, stats of a Pokemon are limited to attack, defense, and HP. And with the competitive format being in the Great League, which limits the combat power of a Pokemon to 1500, the more stat product your Pokemon has, the longer it can usually survive. This is why we see more bulky stat Pokemon with good typings and good movesets stand out in the top rankings. So to put it simply, Charjabug has a better stat product than Vikavolt in the Great League, and since they have the same typing and basically the same moveset coverage, Charjabug brings home the bacon. Now, Charjabug wasn't the only electric type Pokemon in 2023 and 2024. Lantern was extremely popular as well, arguably more meta at the time due to its dominance in matchups. So if Lantern was better, why choose Charjabug?
So pick me. Choose me.
You see, the defensive attributes and bug and electric typing that we talked about earlier gave Charjabug an edge. Charjabug began to go on a rampage, winning tournaments throughout 2023 and 2024. And in the first year of being competitively viable, piloted by the incredibly skilled battler Yakai, Charjabug would go on to solidify itself as the first bug-type Pokemon to become a champion.
He is your 2024 Pokemon Go World Champion!
But Charjabug was alone. It was the only viable meta pick that was a bug type. So what changed? How did Ariados and Golisopod start to rise and become meta options? In August 2024, just after Pokemon Worlds, Pokemon GO released news regarding the new season changes to competitive Pokemon GO. This brought a whirlwind of sweeping changes to the meta. Rock Slide, Wing Attack, Body Slam, Steel Wing, Counter, Zap Cannon, and Sky Attack, just to name a few, all got nerfed. Pokemon that were once seen as the pinnacle of competitive Pokemon GO, like Skarmory and Lickitung, became trash overnight. At the same time, we saw buffs to Mud Slap, Karate Chop, Poison Sting, Rollout, and Psywave, which slowly brought new Pokemon into the meta, like Shadow Kanto Marowak, Dunsparce, Drapion, and Malamar. With the new season underway, we saw a surge of use with Malamar, as it was able to core break a lot of meta teams. Malamar became the talk of the town. It was even capable of beating a Azumarill in the 2 Shields as a Dark-type Pokemon, thanks to the damage from its fast move, Psywave. As time went on, players looked for ways to overcome the meta. Enter Ariados, a bug and poison-type Pokemon, benefiting from the Poison Sting buff and having access to powerful charge move of Lunge, giving that bug coverage along with the attack debuffs to your opponent. It also runs with Trailblaze, a grass-type charge move that boosts its own attack stat. With so many water-type Pokemon in the meta, like Dugong, Azumarill, and Feraligatr, and lacking Steel-type Pokemon from previous metas, Ariados was able to bring valuable coverage and pressure to the competitive scene. Much like Chargebug, its second typing of Poison was weak to ground, but with the bug typing, it lowered the damage it would take, especially from the newly buffed Mud Slap on Shadow Kanto Marowak. Ariados was run by some of the best players in the world at the Louisville Regional Tournament, like Nighttime Clasher, Dunebug, and Rise to Occasion, taking 3rd overall in the tournament. The very next weekend at the Lily Regional Tournament, Ariados was used by all the top players, taking 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the tournament, solidifying itself in the meta throughout the winter of 2024 and start of 2025. But how did Golisopod rise to become meta? Fast forward to February 2025, Pokemon GO brought more updates to the game with the new season. Much like last summer, these updates significantly changed what Pokemon are top meta options. We saw buffs to Dazzling Gleam, Aqua Jet, Dynamic Punch, and Rock Tomb, just to name a few. New Pokemon also got access to moves, specifically Lapras, getting access to Psywave and Sparkling Aria, surging its way to the top of the competitive format. Grumpig, of all Pokemon, became meta overnight after getting access to Psywave and the newly buffed Dynamic Punch. More Ghost-type Pokemon also began to shine as we saw updates to Dusknoir, Dusclops, and Sableye. So how does Golisopod fit into this meta? Well, Golisopod is a bug and water-type Pokemon. Much like its meta predecessors before it, that dual typing allows it to mitigate threats, grass and fire. But Golisopod offered more. The moveset of Shadow Claw, X-Scissor, and newly updated Aqua Jet gave it considerable coverage to common meta picks, able to take down Pokemon like Shadow Feraligatr, Shadow Kanto Marowak, Annihilate, Diggersby, Lapras, and Clodsire. It was a powerful bug-type Pokemon waiting for its day to shine, and that first day was at the Vancouver Regional Tournament, piloted by Rise to Occasion.
So we're going to be checking out the grand finals here from Vancouver. This is going to be shoutcasted over the original video. If you guys want to go check that out, there's going to be a link down in the description. But we have Haydonis here with Shadow Drapion, Dugong, Shadow Marowak, Chargebug, Azumarill, and Shadow Dusclops, a bug-type Pokemon for his team. And on the right, we have Rise to Occasion running with the Shadow Drapion, Dugong, Shadow Steelix, spicy in itself with that Thunder Fang, Golisopod, another bug type that we've highlighted today, Gastrodon, and Shadow Jumpluff. 2 powerful teams and 2 powerful trainers as we're going to be moving into Game 1. We have Golisopod on the lead versus Dugong. A very solid matchup here for the Golisopod, going to be able to resist both the fast and charge moves from Dugong. But the great thing about Dugong and why it's so powerful in this meta is the ability to debuff your opponent with that Icy Wind. But Golisopod is going to be striking first here with the X-Scissor for that neutral damage. It's very key for Pokemon facing off against an Icy Wind debuffer to apply as much damage as you can before you get the debuffs. Now, Rise to Occasion opting to not use that Protect Shield and lets the Icy Wind go through. This is where you can't count out Dugong just yet because the bulk is really going to start adding up. Now, Rise to Occasion is able to get to another X-Scissor in time. That Shadow Claw fast move is incredible at not only doing great damage and neutral in this situation, but gaining energy so you can throw charge moves very quickly. And Rise to Occasion opting to let the next Icy Wind go through, trusting in the Golisopod to hang on and looking to go for an aggressive farm down. Is Rise going to get it in time? Yes, able to get the farm down. Full on energy, as we will likely see the Dusclops come in. Aqua Jet is thrown, but the Hex did not go through, and Rise recognizes that right there. Hey, Dawn is devastated, but Rise to Occasion is going to go ahead and let the Dusclops counter him, or fast move him down there, so that he doesn't have to do a reset basically in this game. So good sportsmanship and also smart 5-head move to keep the battle in play, as we do have the Golisopod, or the Gastrodon here versus the Shadow Kanto Marowak, opting to go for the Body Slam. Mud Slapper versus Mud Slapper, and the first Protect Shield used in this game on the Cantonian there, as we will see a Bone Club come through. If you're maybe coming back to Pokemon Go and you're wondering what the heck is Shadow Kanto Marowak doing here, there was an amazing buff to the fast move of Mud Slap, and these Mud Slappers are now top meta options on competitors' teams, as we will see another Body Slam come through here from the Gastrodon. The second Protect Shield being used by Haydonis, out of Protect Shields, but Kanto Marowak is locked and loaded with another Bone Club. If Gastrodon decides to let this go, then they're going to be able to farm down with fast moves, and it looks like that's going to be the case, but a counter swap right away into Shadow Drapion, hoping to get to the Aqua Tail in time. The Poison Sting fast move, able to gain energy so quickly as the Aqua Tail now, boom, takes out the Shadow Kanto Marowak. Dusclops is all by himself. Rise to Occasion has the Shadow Drapion, has the Crunch, has the Protect Shield here to lock in the first battle of this game, as they're going to look to stop that first Ice Punch. Now, Rise to Occasion is in the loser's bracket, and this is a best of 5, which means Rise is going to have to climb through and win 3 out of 5 battles here in this first set to do a bracket reset. Boom, taken down the Dusclops there in game 1. Moving into game 2, we have a Dugong Mirror. Rise up 1-0 in the series. The Mirror is always a nightmare. Do you go for the guaranteed debuff with Icy Wind, or do you go for that neutral damage with Drill Run? And it looks like Rise is opting to go for the Drill Run early and looking to chunk some health here in the mirror match. Now, will trainers swap out at some point trying to catch a charge move? Will they opt to keep a lot of energy on their Dugong? Because Dugong, as one of the key components of a lot of trainers' teams here in Play Pokemon, is so powerful with energy because of the ability to apply debuffs to your opponent's side, as we will see another Drill Run come through. Both trainers not looking to go for debuffs or trying to keep their Pokemon alive. They are just letting the Drill Runs go, as they are now getting down to low health. We do see a swap out now into a Azumarill, and the Shadow Drapion is coming out. Now, Shadow Drapion does have a powerful matchup against the Azumarill when running the charge move of Sludge Bomb for that super effective damage, but with the Poison Sting and Crunch, it's not as dangerous, and Azumarill can apply a lot of shield pressure here with Play Rough, that neutral charge move that Rise to Occasion is opting to let go. So we will see the Play Rough now come through. Shadow Drapion getting pretty low, but the great thing about Shadow Drapion, everyone, is the ability to spam charge moves. All hope seems lost, right? Shadow Drapion's in the red. He's getting low. But the ability to put out multiple charge moves and really come back in a dire situation like this is powerful, as we do see an Aqua Tail thrown at the last second. Haydonis has to let it go, hoping that the Azumarill can hang on, but will Aqua Tail be enough? No, Azumarill is able to hang on, and an Ice Beam is thrown. So Rise able to force the energy out from Azumarill and looking to come in maybe with the Dugong or maybe with the Gastrodon to load up on energy without having to worry about the charge move. Powerful play by Rise to Occasion. Now, all that's left on Hedonist's side is going to be the Dugong and the Dusclops. And Dugong having the energy to apply the Icy Wind debuff. This is crucial here in this situation. We may see a swap out into Dusclops to get ahead on energy, but no, deciding to get it, stay in, hoping to get to the next Icy Wind, but Rise to Occasion, counting the moves correctly, knowing the timing here, knowing that they can get to the Body Slam and force a Protect Shield now from Hedonist and his Dugong, as it does get the charge attack priority there, forcing the Icy Wind, and Rise to Occasion now giving up the first Protect Shield in Game 2. This is going to come down to the wire. Dusclops is now onto the field. Counter swap in with Dugong at the same time. Same play by both trainers here with their Dugongs, utilizing it to apply a debuff when they can't really swap out, as Icy Wind now is going to be chunking the health there of Dusclops. Now, Dusclops, a powerful Pokemon that has come back into the meta. Its defensive stats make it very dominant when it comes to matchups and neutral damage, but the ability with Hex to throw out those low energy cost charge moves of Shadow Punch and Ice Punch is very dominant in some of these matchups, as they will give up the final Protect Shield with the Icy Wind. So now it is up to Dusclops to go for the aggressive farm down. Tons of energy loaded, but Gastrodon has some energy. Let's see if it's going to be enough. Didn't see the charge move there. No Mud Slap went through. Maybe we get a replay, but we'll have to see, as the Shadow Punch now is going to be coming through. No, there is a little bit of energy, but Rise to Occasion has to be very careful here. Dusclops has multiple Shadow Punch, one Protect Shield remaining from Rise to Occasion. If we see a Dugong swap, no, here comes the next Shadow Punch. This is where things get dangerous. If Rise can correctly throw the Body Slam on Dugong, we're going to be seeing a good game. And there it is! The anticipating the swap, catching the Body Slam. While this is good on paper, it is bad for Hedonist, because now Mud Slap is going to be used against Dusclops and able to take Game 2. Rise to Occasion seems unstoppable in this first set as we move into Game 3. Azumarill on the lead versus Gastrodon. Somewhat of a neutral matchup, but Azumarill's bulk right here is really going to shine through. But Gastrodon can put down the pressure with those Earth Powers and potentially get the debuff. Now, we do see the first Earth Power come through, and this is where Azumarill wants to leverage its bulk. No Protect Shields need to be thrown up this early in the game, as Azumarill can easily hang on right there. But Gastrodon is a bulky water himself, as they're going to be able to let this Ice Beam come through, and it's all going to come down to switch alignment. If we look at the back right there on Rise to Occasion side, Dugong and Shadow Drapion. And for Hedonist, it's going to be the Shadow Kanto Marowak and the Dusclops. That is going to be polarizing matchup. So if Rise to Occasion is able to hang on with 1 HP and a dream, able to get to the Earth Power in time, Hedonist needs this switch alignment, but instead opts to let it go. And now Rise to Occasion might have just sealed the deal here in Game 3. He's going to have the Dugong against the Marowak. He's going to have the Drapion against the Dusclops. All hope is lost, and sometimes, there we go, Rise to Occasion knows exactly what's in front of him. The crunch damage is going to be overpowering in this matchup. That dark typing, resisting the Hex. Rise to Occasion made the perfect call and the perfect play in the first set of battles there on the Pokemon of Azumarill versus Gastrodon, knowing that he could survive that charge move with 1 HP and a dream, and it is paying dividends as we do see the Ice Punch now come through. But this is looking to be a good game. Even this Shadow Punch, though, can easily be let go. It's not going to do enough damage. Rise to Occasion can just let it go, knowing that Dugong can close this game out because he's already seen the Shadow Kanto Marowak on the other side. It'd be a different story if he maybe is worried about a charge bug, but it's not. It's going to be the Shadow Kanto Marowak. Rise to Occasion has loads of energy, and Aqua Tail is super effective, so this is going to be a back-to-back charge move. Hedonist already going to go ahead and let this game go. 2 shields remaining for both trainers, but they cannot bring it into the next set of battles. We have a bracket reset now for Rise to Occasion as we reset 0-0, best of 5. First trainer to 3 battles is going to be winning, and Rise to Occasion gets a solid lead there against Shadow Drapion as we see a Dusclops safe swap with a Shadow Drapion counter swap. I know we're getting right into these battles, but I didn't want to have the linger of the mid-game matchups and the thoughts be there. We're just rapid firing this championship series here from Vancouver to see where all the action is. We saw Golisopod shine in game 1. We really haven't seen Charjabug. It's been a game of Shadow Drapion and Dusclops here, as we do see a ton of heavy damage from the Shadow Crunch as they're going to go ahead and protect the Ice Punch damage and look to potentially farm down, but I think he's going to have to throw, yeah, he's going to have to throw an Aqua Tail. No, decides to go for the aggressive farm down, but can safely let this charge move go through as Rise to Occasion knows he can survive that Shadow Punch. Now, we will see the Shadow Drapion mirror, but this is where energy on a Shadow Drapion is one of the most dangerous forces in this meta, right? This is the last thing you want to see if you have no Protect Shields or you're behind on energy, as we will see a Gastrodon and a Azumarill swap in, and Haydonis is in such a tough position behind on energy. He's going to be forced to use Protect Shields. Rise to Occasion still has the Dugong, still has the Shadow Drapion with the Aqua Tail dancing around Haydonis here in the first battle of the second set, already up 3-0 from the previous series. Can Rise make it a 4-0 as another Protect Shield is going to be going up here from the Earth Power? Haydonis has to keep this Azumarill alive to have any chance of winning, because Shadow Drapion is getting far too low and a Play Rough now is going to be coming through. But this is looking to be a good game once again. Azumarill has to get to that Ice Beam in time in order to knock out, but a swap, a beautifully timed swap by Rise to Occasion into the Dugong, anticipating the Ice Beam being thrown right there, saving the energy on Gastrodon, as we will have the Play Rough land and a counter swap now, looking to go for the Aqua Tail, but was hoping to go for Crunch, but maybe forgot how much energy he had on his Pokemon, and that's why the split-second decisions are so dangerous. He gets a shield though nonetheless, which is perfect. That's what he was aiming for, but a potential debuff could have been huge there in this matchup, as Rise to Occasion can now easily go for Icy Winds. This is going to be securing this game, as the bulk is going to be applied by lowering the attack of the Azumarill, where now those Play Roughs are not doing as much damage. You can safely go for Drill Runs, maybe a counter swap into Gastrodon to throw the Body Slam, but ultimately it is going to be a good game, very well played. There's the counter swap, there's the Body Slam, the Wombo combo here in game 1 of Series 2. Rise to Occasion now 4-0 in the championship series against Haydonis. All right. Moving into game 2, we have Golisopod out on the field once again in a very positive matchup against the Shadow Kanto Marowak, and a strong matchup here against the Dusclops. This is why Golisopod has been starting to shine. It's the Shadow Claw Aqua Jet combination along with the X-Scissor coverage that makes it so strong, along with that typing, and a beautiful counter swap now into the Shadow Drapion, having a strong matchup here where that Crunch is going to be applying so much pressure, and with the Poison Sting energy gain, the Dusclops really can't compete with it toe-to-toe for damage. Now, Rise to Occasion might need to use a Protect Shield, but opting not to. Knowing that Hex, he can't get farmed down in time before 2 Crunches can be thrown, this is a powerful position to be in as he looks to go for the first Crunch. This will knock out the Shadow Dusclops. Haydonis in such a tough position. He's going to have to give up his second Protect Shield, but opts not to, as the boom! Dusclops will go down, and perfect energy there from Rise to Occasion as we see the Shadow Kanto Marowak coming back in with an Aqua Tail, doing over 50% of its HP, and the final Pokemon in the back is going to be that Charjabug. Now, Charjabug, unfortunately, is going to be met with Gastrodon. This is where the typing of Bug and Electric can be beneficial to lower the damage from Mud Slap, but unfortunately the ground typing there on Gastrodon is resisting those Volt switches. So thankfully Charjabug does have X-Scissor, but this is the type of situation where you're behind on shields. This is such a tough place to be if you're the little bus right there. Now, if it had been a Dugong in the back like previous matchups, that Charjabug would have been loving life, but unfortunately, the Gastrodon is just too bulky, too spammy. The mud slaps are doing too much neutral damage, and the body slams are just coming through too quickly. Charjabug's looking to go for back-to-back X-Scissor right here, trying to make quick work of Gastrodon, but there are still 2 Protect Shields remaining. There is still the Golisopod that Adonis has to get through, and we will see a swap into the Marowak, but a counter swap into Golisopod. We will see the charge move be thrown. Golisopod can safely shield, having to protect from the potential Rock Slide, which is the charge move to look out for, but an Aqua Jet is going to make quick work, and as long as he overloads on energy, things are looking very good, as Aqua Jet now will be taking out the Shadow Kanto Marowak, and the next Aqua Jet should be able to get rid of the Charjabug unless they decide to throw energy right away. No, he decides to let it go, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. Even if Charjabug had thrown the discharge there, it would have been mud slapped down by the Gastrodon. So Rise to Occasion up 2-0 now in the second set of battles on a 5-0 win streak. Can we make it happen for a 3-0 as we have the Shadow Marowak versus Shadow Steelix on the lead? Save swap into Golisopod and save swap into Dusclops here as we get into potentially the final battle of this series. And Golisopod is going to show you just how strong it can be. This is a Pokemon you guys need on your roster. The Shadow Claw, the updated Aqua Jet, the X-Scissor coverage, the water and bug typing is potentially too much now for Adonis, as a Shadow Punch is going to be landing, but Golisopod is able to put up a Protect Shield now on the second one and can go for an aggressive farm down right here. And if he's able to get it, if he's able to get this energy, it's gonna go a lot of places as that Shadow Claw does farm down Adonis in tough position here. Dugong now coming in, 2 X-Scissors ready to go. No charge move going to be coming from Dugong anytime soon, and that Ice Shard fast move is resisted. So this Golisopod is going to go on a tear. We might see 3 X-Scissors in a row, and it's looking like we are going to see that. This Dugong is going to have to Protect Shield because the second one now coming through is going to get it low, and the third one is going to knock out. Do we see it? We do. Golisopod and Rise to Occasion going on a tear here in Game 3 of the second series, forcing the first Protect Shield of this game from Dugong. Steelix now coming in, counter swap into Marowak with a counter swap into Dugong, and that sealed the deal. Dugong, Marowak, unfortunately, too far behind, as they will give up a Protect Shield, but Rise to Occasion is not out of it yet, as we will see the Protect Shield go up. Icy Wind now coming through. Crucial that he lowers the attack here of the Marowak. That way, when the Rock Slide does come through here in this matchup, it doesn't one-shot. So we will see the Rock Slide. He's loading up on some extra energy, but is it going to be enough just before the Icy Wind can come through? This Rock Slide actually now with that Mud Slap damage might be enough to knock out the Dugong. Adonis might make a comeback. No! Dugong hangs on and able to throw the Icy Wind. Rise to Occasion doing a 6-0 reverse sweep. Boom! That is going to be a good game, and Rise to Occasion is going to be taking it here in Vancouver, able to farm down now with Steelix. The first time we've seen it in this championship series set of battles, but Steelix, a very powerful Pokemon in its own right, spicy and fun, but the Thunder Fangs are just too much damage. Back-to-back drill runs are coming through, but there is still a Dugong on Rise to Occasion side, and that drill run was not enough, so Rise is going to take it, and Rise is your Vancouver regional champion running the Golisopod. Wonderful series here, and great to see both trainers compete at such a high level. And there you have it, 3 unique bug-type Pokemon, powerful in their own right, all winning regional and world championships, taking what was the worst Pokemon type in the competitive format and transforming itself into meta options, all thanks to a mix of updates, movesets, typings, and powerful gameplay from trainers all across the world. Hope you enjoyed today's video. See ya!